I never thought the taste of birthday cake mixed with humiliation at my own birthday party would show me my family's true nature and awaken something dark I didn't know I had inside me. The frosting was still dripping from my eyelashes when I realized this wasn't celebration. This was warfare, and I had just been declared the enemy. But what I unleashed in the next 30 days would destroy them in ways they never imagined possible. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began, because context matters when you're about to hear how I systematically destroyed the people who thought they could break me. And trust me, by minute 15 of the story, you'll understand why I had no other choice. I'm Hannah Michelle, and this is the story of how a birthday cake changed everything. I was 10 when my mother married Richard. Suddenly, I wasn't just dealing with a new stepdad, I was thrust into a house with his two daughters, Chloe and Brooke, who were 13 and 15. They formed an impenetrable unit, and I was the unwelcome addition nobody asked for. The pattern started immediately and would haunt me for the next 14 years. From day one, they made me invisible. Not through obvious cruelty, that would have been too easy to call out. Instead, they were surgical about it. "Oh, we didn't think you'd want to come to the movies with us. Sorry, we only had room for two in the car. We figured you were too busy studying anyway." By my count, I documented over 200 instances of deliberate exclusion. But I didn't know I was collecting evidence yet. My mother would catch glimpses of their treatment sometimes. I'd see her face fall when she realized I'd been left out again. But Richard would smooth it over with explanations about how the girls just needed time to adjust. 14 years of adjustment, apparently. The years blurred together in a haze of birthday parties I wasn't invited to, family photos I was cropped out of, and holidays spent feeling like a stranger in my own home. Christmas mornings where they'd exchange thoughtful gifts while I got generic drugstore presents clearly bought last minute. Summer vacations planned in group chats I wasn't added to until after everything was booked, if at all. Each exclusion carved away another piece of who I thought I could be in this family. But they also built something else inside me. Not just anger. Strategy. I threw myself into academics with obsessive focus. While they posted perfect family photos on social media, conveniently cropping me out, I was earning straight A's. While they lived off daddy's money, I was applying for scholarships and planning my escape. I studied marketing with a minor in psychology, learning exactly how people's minds worked, how narratives spread, how reputations were built, and how they could be destroyed. I was becoming dangerously good at understanding what made people tick. The day I graduated summa cum laude, something shifted in the family dynamic. Suddenly, Chloe and Brooke were interested in my career prospects. Richard started asking about my job interviews. My achievements couldn't be ignored when they were featured in the local newspaper. For the first time in 14 years, I thought I might finally belong. That hope nearly destroyed me. When I landed a position at Morrison & Associates, one of the city's most prestigious marketing firms, the family WhatsApp chat actually included me in conversations. I felt like I might have a real family for once. That's when Chloe suggested the birthday party. Looking back, I should have recognized the trap being laid with surgical precision. "We should celebrate Hannah properly this year," she announced at dinner, using that bright, fake tone she'd perfected. 24 is a big birthday, and she deserves something special. After years of being an afterthought, I craved their acceptance like oxygen. The warning signs were all there, but I was too desperate to see them. They went completely overboard with the preparations. The house was transformed with elegant gold and black decorations, my favorite colors, which shocked me that they even remembered. String lights created a warm glow throughout the living room. They'd hired a caterer, invited extended family, even ordered a custom cake from the expensive bakery downtown. The total cost? Over $3,000. I found the receipts later. This wasn't spontaneous kindness. This was a calculated investment in my humiliation. The cake was a masterpiece. 3 layers of chocolate with gold fondant roses and "Happy 24th Birthday, Hannah," written in elegant script. I actually teared up when I saw it. "This is incredible," I whispered to Chloe as guests filled our living room. "Thank you." "Really?" Her smile was perfect. "Too perfect. You deserve it, sis." "Sis," She'd never called me that before. Now I understand why she chose that exact moment. The evening unfolded like a dream I'd had for years. Cousins I'd barely spoken to were asking about my job. Richard's brother was impressed by my career plans. For once, I wasn't standing alone by the appetizer table, invisible and ignored. But in exactly 47 minutes, that dream would shatter into my worst nightmare. The moment for the cake ceremony arrived, and they gathered everyone around. The room fell quiet as Brooke lit the candles, all 24 of them. The warm glow flickered across faces that looked genuinely happy for me. "Make a wish," someone called out. I closed my eyes and wished for what I'd always wanted, to truly be part of this family. That wish was about to backfire spectacularly. I took a deep breath and blew out the candles. The room erupted in cheers, and then, complete darkness. Someone had killed the main lights the exact moment the candles went out. In the confusion, I heard Chloe's voice, but it sounded different now. Colder. More calculating. "Actually, we have a special surprise for our dear sister." Before I could process her words or the sudden shift in atmosphere, I felt hands grab my shoulders. The beautiful cake, the one I'd admired just moments before, was shoved directly into my face with enough force to make me stumble backward. Chocolate and frosting filled my mouth, my nose, my eyes. I couldn't breathe, couldn't see. The room erupted in shocked gasps and nervous laughter. When someone finally turned the lights back on, I was standing there dripping with cake and humiliation. Chloe was holding her phone up, recording every second of my degradation. "Oops," Brooke said, not bothering to hide her smirk. Butterfingers. The moment of truth. The silence was deafening. Extended family members stared in horror. Richard looked uncomfortable but said nothing. My mother's face was ghost white, her hand shaking. But it was Chloe's expression that burned itself into my memory. Pure satisfaction. Like she'd been planning this moment for months. And as it turns out, she had been. "Come on, guys," she said to the room, still filming. "It's just a joke. Hannah knows we're kidding around. Right, Hannah?" Every eye in the room was on me. This was my moment to laugh it off, to be the good sport, to let them get away with it one more time. Instead, I wiped frosting from my eyes and looked directly into Chloe's camera. "Absolutely hilarious," I said, my voice steady despite the cake dripping from my chin. "I'll have to remember this for next time." They had no idea what next time would look like. The party died quickly after that. Guests made awkward excuses and left within the hour. By 10 o'clock, it was just family again, and the silence was suffocating. I locked myself in my bathroom and scraped cake from my hair for an hour. But somewhere between the rage and humiliation, something crystallized inside me. This wasn't going to slide. Not this time. My marketing background was about to become their nightmare. I knew Chloe had posted the video somewhere, probably her private Instagram story for her college friends to see. This wasn't just cruelty. It was calculated humiliation designed to go viral at my expense. But they had no idea who they were really dealing with. My dear stepsisters never understood that I wasn't just book smart. My degree wasn't decoration. I understood people psychology, and most importantly, I understood social media marketing better than they ever would. I was about to give them a masterclass in viral destruction. The next morning, I started my investigation with methodical precision. Day 1, I found 12 screenshots of group chats excluding me from family events over the past year alone. Day 2, I discovered voice recordings on Chloe's phone when she left it unlocked. 23 of them. Hearing them laugh about my pathetic attempts to fit in while I was literally in the next room broke something fundamental inside me. Day 3. This is when I uncovered the evidence that would fuel my revenge for months. The cake video was indeed on Chloe's Instagram story, titled "When Your Weird Stepsister Finally Gets What's Coming to Her." It had been screenshotted and shared in their friend group chat, where the comments were even crueler than I'd imagined. She actually thought we liked her. Did you see her face when the cake hit? This is going to be legendary. But discovering the video wasn't the worst part. The text messages I found next will haunt me forever. Messages between them planning the entire humiliation 2 weeks in advance. The fake kindness. The expensive party. The moment of crushing disappointment. All of it was premeditated with terrifying precision. They'd even discussed backup plans. 3 different ways to humiliate me that night, depending on how I reacted to their surprise. That level of calculated cruelty broke something inside me that I'm not sure ever healed. So, I decided to destroy them completely. My marketing background became their worst nightmare. I knew how to build narratives that people couldn't ignore, how to create content that spread like wildfire. Phase 1 was surgical precision. I started with LinkedIn, crafting a post titled Lessons in Family Dynamics, when professional success meets personal sabotage. I wrote about overcoming family rejection, about finding success despite having no support system at home. I shared my graduation photo next to a screenshot of being excluded from family group chats about family dinners I was never invited to. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Comments poured in from colleagues, classmates, and complete strangers sharing their own stories of family rejection and triumph. In 24 hours, 50,000 views, 2,000 comments, 500 shares. But that was just the warm-up. My phone started ringing constantly. Reporters, podcast hosts, social media managers. People wanted to hear my full story, but I wasn't ready to tell it yet. Phase 2 was about to go nuclear. Next phase targeted their social media presence directly. Chloe and Brooke had built their entire online personas around being the perfect daughters. Their Instagram accounts were carefully curated collections of designer outfits, family vacations, and #SistersForever posts. All those perfectly cropped photos where I was edited out, I had the originals stored on my phone, and I was about to use every single one. I created a TikTok account called The Invisible Sister and started posting side-by-side comparisons. Their family bonding posts next to screenshots of group chats where they called me pathetic. They're grateful for my loving family captions next to audio recordings of them mocking my appearance. The account went viral in 3 days. 2.3 million views, 400,000 followers, 50,000 comments of people sharing their own stories of family exclusion. Local news picked up the story within a week. Invisible Sister Exposes Family Abuse was the headline on Channel 7. My stepsisters' faces were suddenly on television screens across the city. Their names were being said by news anchors in living rooms throughout our community. They went from social media queens to public villains in 72 hours. But the masterstroke was still coming, and it would change everything forever. The birthday cake video became my nuclear option. Instead of letting them control the narrative, I took it back completely. I posted the full context, the elaborate party setup, my genuine gratitude, their calculated cruelty. But I added something they didn't expect, a professional psychological analysis of their behavior. This is what systematic emotional abuse looks like in families, I narrated over their footage. Watch how it's planned, executed, and then dismissed as just a joke when called out. The video exploded across every platform simultaneously. 5.7 million views in the first 48 hours. Major news outlets picked it up. Psychology professionals shared it in academic discussions about family dynamics and emotional abuse. Their cruel prank became a case study in manipulation tactics taught in university courses. Chloe and Brooke's carefully crafted online images crumbled overnight. Comments flooded their accounts with people calling them out. Their college friends distanced themselves immediately. Brooke's sorority sisters were embarrassed to be associated with someone featured in articles about family bullying. Within 1 week, both had lost over 10,000 followers each. Chloe's influencer sponsorship deals were canceled. Brooke's sorority threatened disciplinary action for bringing negative attention to their organization. But the real consequences came when their father realized his reputation was being destroyed. Richard had always prided himself on his family image. He was active in community organizations, served on the school board, coached Little League. Having his daughters exposed as systematic bullies devastated his carefully maintained reputation. For the first time in 14 years, there were real consequences for their actions. The school board received over 200 complaints questioning Richard's character and judgment. 3 community organizations asked him to step down from leadership positions. His Little League team's parents started a petition to remove him as coach, citing concerns about his family values. Chloe was forced to deactivate all her social media accounts indefinitely. Brooke lost her prestigious summer internship when the company saw the negative attention. Richard had to resign from 2 community positions he'd held for over a decade. They finally had to live with the consequences of systematic exclusion. Family friends stopped including them in social events. Extended family questioned what kind of people they really were behind closed doors. The perfect family image they'd maintained while systematically torturing me was completely destroyed. Within 30 days, their entire social world had collapsed around them. My mother finally found her voice after years of enabling silence. "I should have protected you," she said through tears one evening. "I was so scared of losing another marriage that I failed you as a mother. I chose keeping peace over keeping you safe." "You didn't lose me," I told her, "but you almost did." The apologies came eventually, but they felt hollow and desperate. Chloe and Brooke were sorry they got caught, sorry their lives were disrupted, sorry their reputations were ruined. But I never heard genuine remorse for 14 years of systematic cruelty. 3 months later, I had enough documented material to write a book about surviving family abuse. I moved out into a beautiful apartment downtown, closer to my job and further from their toxicity. My social media following had grown into a legitimate platform where I helped other people navigate toxic family dynamics. Speaking engagements started coming in regularly. A literary agent reached out about turning my story into a book. The Invisible Sister had become impossible to ignore. 6 months after the birthday ambush, I ran into Chloe at a coffee shop near my office. She looked fundamentally different, smaller somehow, less confident. Her designer clothes were gone, replaced by basic outfits from discount stores. The spark in her eyes had completely dimmed. "Hannah," she said quietly, approaching my table hesitantly. "Can we talk?" "About what?" I wanted to apologize. Really apologize this time. What we did was inexcusable, and I know that now. I studied her face carefully, looking for the manipulation I'd learned to expect. But all I saw was genuine remorse, tinged with the kind of deep humility that only comes from losing everything you thought made you special. "You spent 14 years teaching me that actions have consequences," I said calmly. "I just returned the lesson." She nodded, tears starting to form in her eyes. "I know. And I deserved everything that happened. We both did. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry." "Yes," I agreed simply. "You did deserve it." The girl who had once seemed untouchable was now just another person dealing with the fallout of her own cruel choices. "For what it's worth," she said as she turned to leave, "I'm genuinely proud of what you've accomplished. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for, and I was wrong to underestimate you." I watched her walk away, shoulders slumped with the weight of her consequences, and for the first time in months, I felt something other than anger or satisfaction. I felt peace. The birthday ambush was supposed to break me into pieces. Instead, it broke them. But more importantly, it built me into someone I never knew I could be, someone who wouldn't accept being invisible anymore. My mother and I are rebuilding our relationship slowly, but genuinely. She's learning to prioritize our bond over keeping peace with people who never deserved her protection. Richard is trying to make amends, though it may be too little, too late for meaningful reconciliation. As for me, I'm thriving in ways I never imagined possible. My platform continues to grow, helping other people find their voices in toxic family situations. The book deal came through for $150,000. I've been featured in 12 magazines as an advocate for family abuse survivors. The girl who was invisible for 14 years is now impossible to ignore. Sometimes people ask if I regret how far I took my revenge. If I think I went too far in exposing them so publicly and destroying their lives so completely. My answer is always the same. They spent over a decade systematically trying to erase me from my own family. They documented their cruelty, shared it for entertainment, and felt no remorse until facing consequences. I didn't destroy them. I simply held up a mirror and showed the world who they really were behind their perfect facades. That birthday cake taught me something valuable. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't getting even. It's becoming so successful, so confident, So undeniably present that the people who tried to erase you have no choice but to acknowledge your existence. I'm 25 now, and last month I celebrated my birthday exactly how I wanted, surrounded by friends who chose to love me, colleagues who respect me, and a mother who finally learned to protect me. The party cost $5,000. The cake was even more beautiful than the one they destroyed. And this time, I got to eat every single bite while people who genuinely cared about me sang happy birthday. Because now they know better than to underestimate the invisible sister who became unforgettable. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family or dealt with people who underestimated you, let me know in the comments below. If this story showed you that sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to stay silent, make sure you subscribe because I share stories like this every regularly that prove you're stronger than you think.